Hey guys, I just wanted to talk to you about these tires right here. These are the 275 7017s Falken Wildpeak AT4s. These are a C load range. So I run these, I run the pressure at about 32 cold. They will expand and basically you'll be running around in the hot summer at about 36, 37. At least that's been my experience. They balance great. I haven't had any trouble with them. I do notice on the Tacoma, but not the Forerunner with the same size, same brand, model, everything tires, same tires. On the Tacoma, since it's lighter in the rear, if it sits all night and it's cooler, you do get a slight little, maybe cold weather, not a wobble. You can just kind of, it feels like the tires are stiffer. But I don't feel that on the Forerunner, but it has a softer suspension. Then the Tacoma, once the tires heat up after a couple of miles, you don't feel it anymore. So it goes away. I think it's just from sitting, 24 hours or something like that. Um, anyways, these tires, I've had them on about 3 months. They're doing well. These are the wheels that came on the Forerunner originally, and I swapped them out with the silver ones. Put some TRD center caps on there. I did a video on that. And I will have links under the video in the description if you want to check them out. I got these TRD caps at Sticker Fab. So these are the tires. Let's look at the front. They're the ones that wear really the most first. They've done well. Now this vehicle's only got about 1,700 miles on it, but these tires run really smooth. They're quiet. Been really happy with them. So, let's go drive this thing around and talk some more about the tires. Okay, folks, let's go for a spin here. So let me tell you the stats here. I've got 17-inch wheels. They're Toyota OEM wheels that came on the Forerunner in black. They also come on the Tacoma SR5 in silver. They're like a 17 by 7 inch. The tires are 275 7017 Falken Wildpeak AT4s in the C load range. They are a 6-ply tire, but they are not that heavy. They ride really nice, and that 6-ply gives you extra protection when you're, bumping curbs or off-roading. It doesn't give you as much protection as the E-load, because they're a 10-ply, but the 6-load does a job. Okay. That said, the roads around where I live are pretty bumpy. The road I live on, half of it has been repaved twice in the last 15 years. Half of it. The second time was a mistake. They were supposed to finish paving the road, but instead they paved over the new tar. It's just, you call it what you want. Anyhow, these tires do, though, absorb the bumps with these OEM shocks that are on the Tacoma. I've got the same exact tires on the Forerunner, just with different wheels. Same size, same everything. Like I said in other videos, the Forerunner's got a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a softer shocks or springs, one or the other, I'm not sure, than the Tacoma. Now, the Tacoma is a truck, and you should, it's lightweight in the back. You might feel a little more bumps unless you weight it down, but I'm not sure. Tires do great, though. I've got no complaints. They're great on the highway. They're quiet. Now, the new Tacomas and Forerunners, they've made them very quiet inside compared to the previous generations, which is great because I like to run a really rugged all-terrain tire. So, that said, I've been very happy with these tires. I used to run the Yokohama Geolanders, Geo15s, and I ran those on my 3rd gen Tacoma TRD off-road, and I ran them on my Tundra in a bigger size. 2 different load ranges. They both did great. So I would check these tires out. The Geolanders, they do really well on everything. In fact, they do so. They're such a good the Yokohama Geolanders are such a good tire that they put them on a lot of factory vehicles as OEM. Like the Subaru Wilderness gets them. But you know, I had them for like 8 years, 9 years. It was time for a change. So I went with the Falcons. I kind of like their tread pattern, so I thought I'd give them a shot. You never know with tires. You could drive out of the tire shop. My favorite one is Discount Tire. But when you drive out and then all of a sudden you've got some noisy, crazy tire, you're like, what do I do? I just bought these tires. Now they're used. They've been driven on. Good thing about Discount Tire, and I'll give a shout out. Discount Tire, if you get the certificates, you buy those certificates. If you're not satisfied with your tires, they will swap them out. They will try to really help you be a satisfied customer. And that's the kind of customer service I pay for these days. So, anyways, I've been very happy with these tires. I've taken some long road trips on the highway and on back roads, like logging type roads where a lot of logging trucks go. So those roads are full of potholes, full of bumps and everything else, and they've done great. I'm really happy with my purchase. They're not the cheapest tire. At Discount Tire, you can get a Rocky Mountain all-terrain in I think the same size, and it's about it's like $100 and some cheaper per tire. And they seem to do well. They're on my neighbor's truck. He's had them for over a year, and they're doing great. But these Falken Wildpeaks, the maybe it's the look of them, something about them. I'm really happy with them. The Geolanders did great in the snow and everything. These did great in the snow. Had them on the Tundra. We went out in the snow. I went out in the snow with my son, and we spun around and did stuff, and and just had fun in the truck and parking lots. Great time. And so these tires, I'm very satisfied with them, and it's a nice change. And check them out. They can be pricey, with all these tariffs and all this stuff going on. I don't know if they're made in the States or where. Things are going to get real expensive. Went shopping today for some steaks and found out they were almost double the price. So I guess I'll be eating chicken, fish, and pork chops from now on. Yeah, steaks have gotten expensive. And coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, coffee's gotten expensive. So, stick to the store brand. Get used to it. It might taste like an ashtray, but it's cheaper. So, give that a shot. And just honking at some farming trucks. I think they've been picking tomatoes all day. So, now I'm honking at a moped doing 10 miles an hour up a hill on a slow road. We call those liquor sickles where I came from. But anyways, got to give them some distance and, let them know you're behind them. Don't tailgate them. They could fall over. They're going so slow. Anyhow, check out the Falken Wildpeak AT4s. Don't be intimidated by the C load range. It's not that heavy of a tire, and it still rides nice. The E-Load, it's going to be a much stiffer tire for a mid-size truck. That was okay on the Tundra. I wouldn't put that on a mid-size vehicle like a 4Runner or the Tacoma. So that's all I got on the tires. If you would, like, share, and subscribe. Please ask me questions, especially consider, talking about air pressure and stuff, different load range tires, take different pressures other than OEM, because the OEM tires are for a good ride and good gas mileage, and they're very lightweight. And, that's what the manufacturer puts on them. But I know most people switch them out. So ask me questions in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Usually it's within 24 hours. And like I said, subscribe. There'll be more videos. And, I will I will see you next time. See ya.